Widget has the particularity of being visually very nice and pleasant to look at with the highest graphics settings. However, if you want to have a significant advantage over your opponents, either in Witch or Hunter, it is important to configure the widget settings. Before explaining each setting and showing the differences, this video is not intended to optimize widget to increase frame rates. Here are my current video settings that I use to play widget. In my opinion, these video settings will give you a visual advantage over your opponents. Of course, feel free to adjust these settings to your liking to find what works best for you. Let's start with the VSync. The VSync reduces the number of frames per second to match the refresh rate of your monitor. This avoids screen tearing, but it renders the frames in advance. This somehow keeps the action hostage for a fraction of a second before displaying it on your screen, so don't activate this setting. The gamma, or rather the brightness, which can be useful for a game like Widget. By increasing the gamma value, maps with area with low light will be less dark and you will have an easier time finding hidden props. In the same line as the gamma, there is the Sharpen. The Sharpen allows to accentuate the sharpness of the image and more precisely, it allows to maintain the brightness. By increasing the Sharpen value, maps, props, witch and hunters will be sharper and more precise from near and far. Let's move on to one of the most important settings in Widget, the field of view, or more commonly known as FOV. By increasing the field of view, you will be able to see more things on the sides of your screen. The motion blur is a setting that is often disabled in most video games due to its uselessness. It is meant to simulate a feeling of speed. In a game like Widget, it makes visibility and sharpness harder, so please reduce these settings to 0. Next, the anti-aliasing. The anti-aliasing is a setting used to smooth the jag edges. For the case of Widget, this setting has been simplified. That's why I won't go into the detail of the different types of anti-aliasing. If you want a smooth rendering, increase the value of this one, and if you like pixelated edges, reduce the value. The view distance is the maximum distance at which object will be displayed on your screen. Beyond this distance, object will not be visible. In Widget, according to Y, a developer of the game, this setting is only used on some effects, lights, and small props. In this comparison, I didn't see any obvious differences, so it doesn't matter if you decrease the value of this setting, except for some extra frame rates. Let's move on to one of the settings that is a huge trick, the shadows. The shadows on Widget add an atmosphere and warmth to most of the maps. Although visually it's pretty, these settings can be disturbing. By reducing the shadow value, you will completely remove the light fog from maps. On my side, I keep these settings on medium to keep the shadows of props. It can be useful when a witch player is flying through the air, for example. In the same kind as the shadows, the post-processing. Basically, the post-processing makes a game more authentic with effects and filters. It improves the graphics of a game. For Widget, the post-processing is applied on most of the light sources, like for example the props, cosmetic items, or the weather maps. By reducing the value of this one, all the effects of the post-processing will be disabled. The visual effects setting adds details. By reducing the value of this setting, you will remove a lot of details, like symbols or effects on walls, floors and roof. To give another example, it removed the woods and stone version on the house and towers in the Morgenstern map. Small differences are visible with the Witch and Hunter skills, such as the Mushroom skill or the Body Slam skill. It almost removes snowflakes on maps such as Snowbreeze and Finkerstead, which can be very helpful. Speaking of death maps, it removed the layer of snow on the ground, structures and roof. Some of the activatable effects that are on some props are also affected. And finally, it removed the possibility to see through props when you are close to them, which can be a downside. Personally, I keep the settings on medium to remove many of the snowflakes, and you keep the advantage of seeing through props by being close to them. For this setting, I compared each value from low to epic on about 10 maps and I saw no differences. I also checked several cosmetic items and found no differences. From why, once again, this setting is only used on big textures, so the difference is minor. I assume that reducing the value of this one will not bring much more, except maybe a few frame rates on some maps. These settings can be found in the gameplay section of the settings menu. By checking the box, the Hunters players you will see when you are part of the Hunters team will be much more visible through the different surfaces, thanks to the thick white outline. This will help you determine in which direction your fellow Hunters are looking and you will be able to cooperate better with them. Disable jump scares is an option that disables the animation of the Cleany Luak skill, shown by the Witch. I always play with the jump scare of the Cleany Luak because it allows you to always see what's happening on the side of your screen. You will just need to have the reflex to turn your camera so you can still see what is happening in front of you. Here is a comparison with the active option and the disabled option. I hope I have explained as clearly as possible the purpose of each setting. Thanks to Wei for clarifying some things for this video, and see you next time.